Y'all better appreciate this map behind me. It took me way too long to make, but it's not like it matters because the very top of the map is being cut out anyways. Hey everybody, I'm Daniel, this is The World Explained, and today we're going to explain my home state, Wyoming, in Geography Now style. Let's get started.
It's time to learn geography now!
So Wyoming, as everybody knows, is a square, but it's not the only square state because actually none of the states are squares. Wyoming and Colorado are rectangles on a sphere, so they're like slightly curved trapezoids, I guess. And there's a lot of states that are almost rectangles, like North Dakota, Kansas, Utah, and Nebraska are just like rectangles with bites taken out of them. Oklahoma's a rectangle with just like a piece of Texas. And New Mexico is just basically, I think it's the most square state. I think it's more square than even Wyoming, but it has like a little bit of leftovers at the bottom. Yeah, as the United States expanded west, they ran out of ideas, so they just threw lines everywhere. So Wyoming is surrounded by Montana that way, Idaho that way, Utah that way, Colorado that way, Nebraska that way, South Dakota that way. Now once again, because the state isn't an exact rectangle, the dimensions are actually a little off from what you would think. There's 340 miles on the north border, 275 miles on the east and west borders, and 365 miles on the south border. North and south borders are not the same size because, once again, the earth is round. This state is made up of 23 counties with Cheyenne right there in the southeast corner. But it's like more or less just the extreme north of the Denver metro area, so it barely counts as Wyoming. And then there's Casper, which is almost smack dab in the middle of the state, which is almost as big as Cheyenne. I think there's only a couple thousand people difference. And both Cheyenne and Casper hover right around a population of 92,000, including the immediate suburbs. The next biggest town is Laramie, except whenever university is not in session, in which case it's actually Gillette. The only international airport in the state is Casper International, because I think they have like a couple flights to Canada or something. The second most popular airport is Jackson Regional Airport, and the third most popular is Gillette-Campbell County Airport. Some notable places include Yellowstone National Park, Devil's Tower, Jackson Hole, Grand Teton National Park, Independence Rock, Fort Casper, Fort Laramie, the historic western-style downtown of a lot of towns, the ghost town of Atlantic City, Ten Sleep, the Grand Teton Mountains, and the Thermopolis Hot Springs. And of course, these are almost all physical landmarks that draw tourists in, because Wyoming has just over 500,000 people, so we haven't made much here. So you would think that because Wyoming has all straight line borders, it's because they ran out of things to draw lines across, but that's actually not the case. They could have drawn plenty of lines across mountains, rivers, so on and so forth. It's just no one was here, so the lines didn't matter where they drew them. But there are plenty of natural things going on in Wyoming. So the eastern two-thirds of the state is all flat with the occasional butte. And then the western third is all mountains, except down here. This is desert. So the Continental Divide runs from Yellowstone down to Rawlins, and right here in the desert area is home to the Great Divide Basin, which is the only spot in the Continental Divide where none of the water goes to the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. It all actually evaporates. The major ranges are the Absarokas, the Grand Tetons, the Bighorns, the Medicine Bow Mountains, and the small portion of the Black Hills near Sundance. That was the wrong corner of the map. The largest body of water in Wyoming is Yellowstone Lake, located in, you guessed it, Yellowstone National Park. The major rivers are the North Platte, Green, Yellowstone, and Bighorn rivers. The state animal is the American bison, the state flower is Indian paintbrush, and the state bird is the western meadowlark. So a person from Wyoming is not a Wyomingian, or a Wyomingarian, or a square. They're a Wyomingite. The population of Wyoming is about 579,000 people, which means that there are 70 times more people in California than there are in Wyoming. The state is about 78% white, 13% Hispanic, 3% Native American, and the rest is just a little bit of everything else. Wyoming uses the US dollar, uses the Type A outlet, and drives on the right side of the road. Culture-wise, Wyoming does not actually steer too far away from the cowboy stereotypes that the state is known for. I mean, the state's nickname is the Cowboy State. In fact, people living in rural parts of the state pretty much actually dress like a cowboy. Wyomingites also own the most guns per capita in the entire country, and whoops, would you look at that, there goes the comments section. The history of Wyoming goes as follows. Native Americans, Oregon Trail, some scattered forts, Transcontinental Railroad, more railroads, no one ever moves in, and here we are today. Now, normally in Geography Now, this is where they do the friend zone section, but states don't exactly have foreign relations. So I guess what we'll say is Wyomingites would probably feel closest culturally with people from Montana. There's a bit of a rivalry going on between Wyoming and Colorado just to see which state can be the better square, I guess. And everybody from Wyoming hates Californians. In conclusion, Wyoming is a state. The end. I made a thing, and if anybody has ideas for more videos, comment them down below, leave a like, subscribe, so on and so forth. And I'm not going to do any more Geography Now style videos because that's not my thing. If you want more Geography Now style videos, go watch Geography Now.